Divabetica movement is a movement of self-acceptance, self-esteem, and self-care. That means diabetes is part of your life, but it's not truly who you are. And the diva we talk about, it's the inner diva. Just to recognize that self-love is also part of treatment.
Hi, Fabiana. Welcome to the Via Diabetes interview series. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate to be here.
Could you please tell us your diagnosis story and also how you currently manage your diabetes day to day?
I was diagnosed in 1993 and I was 13 years old. It was a very different time to be diagnosed. They had just come with the protocol of multiple daily injections. It was revolutionary to actually start treating, like every time you eat, you apply insulin and so forth and so on. Back then, the main struggle was the mental health side of it, the emotional side. My family is very well prepared. Technically, my dad is an engineer, my mom is a doctor, and they try to take care of it in a very logical way. And we did struggle a lot with the acceptance process. I always say that nobody took care of our feelings. They just took care of our struggling pancreas. But the person behind it, myself, my family, my parents, we didn't get the support we needed. Because of that, I really took a long time to truly accept the diagnosis and start taking better care of myself. I went through a difficult phase of depression. Then I went through multiple eating disorders and felt a lot of shame around it. My turning point was when I met the first person with type 1 diabetes. We were sitting at a coffee shop and I looked at her. I said, well, there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, she's just experiencing the same things I do. So I'm not alone. I really remember that moment in time. I went after all the professionals I needed to actually make a change. The technology really helped. I'm on an insulin pump since 2006, which is about when I actually started taking better care of myself.
Can you tell me a bit about the Divabetica movement and also the Diabetes Influencers Network that you set up?
I was born and lived in Brazil my entire life. Just moved to the UK about 2 years ago. In Brazil in 2009, I started kind of like going to diabetes associations and to give lectures and talking to people, and I really fell in love with it because it was so rewarding. And then I went to the United States, lived there for 5 years and volunteered for several diabetes organizations. Then when I came back, I was like, okay, I want to create my own diabetes organization, just giving back what I didn't really have when I was diagnosed. And Divabetica movement is a movement of self-acceptance, self-esteem, and self-care. It's really about understanding that you're not diabetic, you're divabetic. That means diabetes is part of your life, but it's not truly who you are. And the diva we talk about, not those divas in the movies, it's the inner diva. It's the inner person. It's any gender, any person. Just to recognize that self-love is also part of treatment. And how to build that self-love is something that we try to do as a community, engaging with each other and helping each other feel that they are not alone and they are seen and they are embraced. We do yearly events. We are going towards the 11th edition of Divabetic Experience Day, which is an in-person and online event in Brazil. And we bring healthcare professionals, we bring the community, diabetes experts, to actually have that conversation at the same level and just create better understanding on both sides. We also have the Divabetica fashion show, which is a brand I created in 2017, which is a runway for people with diabetes to show their gadgets, their devices with pride, because I used to hide my diabetes technology because I thought it's actually people will reject me because of that. I don't want people knowing that I have a condition, but truly I realized that it's way more how you actually tell people about your diabetes that matter. And the Diabetes Influencers Network is just an extension of that work because I realized that empowerment was so important, but then it was a more individual thing and we had to be a collective network to make an impact. So we created this network to actually change public policies in Brazil, participate more in the decisions, have our voices heard. So it's really a network of diabetes advocates who are diabetes influencers to actually make a social change, because we still have to gain many more rights in Brazil than we have now.
You've talked a little bit about your mental health struggles. I know for a fact that there's resources in place in the UK. Have you been able to access those? And was there anything similar in place in Brazil for your mental health concerning diabetes?
In the UK, they don't make it clear for you what can you access. I have a friend with diabetes here in the UK, and he was just telling me that he was almost begging to see a psychiatrist. So in practice, I don't know how much they understand the need. And one thing I think that is very important is that the healthcare professionals, they get training on the emotional side of diabetes. I think that this is so important because the mental health should be integrated to diabetes care. So I think that there should be some screenings when you sit with your consultant. Is how they call the endocrinologist here. He should have a brief checklist of things to ask you about your diabetes, because, for example, when I was a teenager and I wasn't very adherent to the treatment, I wasn't doing the things they were telling me to do, I would come back to the doctor and they would just yell at me and say, oh, you're not doing anything that I'm telling you to do. But they weren't going to the root cause. Health literacy is so important. So I think that the healthcare system needs to integrate mental health to every dimension of diabetes, and they need to train the people better. So I haven't used any mental health resources here, and I wasn't told about it.
How did you overcome your mental health complications?
Yeah, I seek my own therapy because I have that history of eating disorders, anxiety, and I was in 2022 diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I talk openly about that, and some people say no, don't talk, because there's nothing wrong with it. And in fairness, there are many people out there with diabetes with BPD as well. And what is it? It's severe emotional dysregulation. What does it mean? When you dysregulate emotionally, emotions go higher than usual, and it takes longer time to go back to normal levels. My psychiatrist said that the trigger was the type 1 diabetes diagnosis when I was age 13, because it's very marked, it's very clear. My mom always says that after the diagnosis, I was different. And with the blood sugars up and down, it just makes it harder. I am a counselor nowadays. That's why I went to school to learn more about myself and help others. And I do my therapy. And one of the things that really helped me, and it's a resource that I think it can help other people with diabetes as well, is a therapy called DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. And it really helps with eating disorders. It's the standard golden treatment. Anyone with ADHD, it's also towards them. But I think that it does help a lot with the diabetes, because with the sudden glucose changes, we have also mood swings, right? And this has been really life-saving. And now I feel like I can feel things deeply, but I don't need to react. I can actually manage it better. I feel like it's very valuable to feel you are more connected to your emotions. They're not driving the car alone. You are the driver and they're just going along with you. And yes, it's really hard to explain, Olivia. That's why I think it's so important that community, peer support help. It saved my life 100%. And I think that anyone who doesn't have that should think about creating their own support network of people with diabetes in some way, you know?
It's like, if you were to give one piece of advice to someone who's just been diagnosed, would that be what you'd say?
Yes. Don't do diabetes alone. You don't have to. You don't need to. Nowadays, there are so many people out there wanting to help and who are also already came to the other side, have gone through a lot, and they can actually pass on some experience and vice versa, because certainly you have some wisdom that you can pass on to other people as well. And it can be scary at first, like, oh, am I going to go to a diabetes event? Then I'm going to become even more diabetic, or, you know, they're going to be just talking about this thing that I already don't like, but actually it's quite the opposite. You see that everybody that is quote-unquote normal, they're doing all types of things, runners, athletes, and dancers, and actresses. And diabetes is just one more part of their lives. And Honestly, the feeling of being so embraced is really unique. So I think that's the main advice I would give to anyone who was newly diagnosed, and to moms and dads as well. Don't do diabetes alone. The load is much lighter when you share it with other people who get it.
What do you personally want to see more of from governments or from businesses in the UK? You can also answer this for Brazil to help with diabetes management.
First of all, I'd like to see more of diabetes information being spread in a positive way and also in a trustworthy way. No fake news or nothing like that, but also more positive, because everything is very negative in the media and everything. That creates a lot of problems. I also would like to see more health access. I would like to see everyone with the closed loop system, or, the latest technology available. We think about the cure, and I'm very hopeful. I don't know about you, Olivia. I hope it comes, and it comes in our lifetime, but I also want to see it for everyone. I want the cure to be for everyone who has type 1 diabetes. Finally, also the mental health aspect of it to be more openly discussed. We don't have to hide any part of ourselves and just be approached in a more open way and also more systematic way by the healthcare systems. Just putting the person in the center and looking at the person as a whole. That's what I want to see happening everywhere. Brazil, here, Italy, everywhere.
I could not agree more. Thank you, Fabiana. Thank you for joining me in this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to meet you, and thank you so much for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you.